Okay. Good afternoon. I think it's afternoon. Maybe it's still morning. I'm not sure. I've been pretty busy today. Cutting the grass, knocking things out. Let me show you. It's looking good. It's looking real good. The garden, not so much. And that's what I want to talk to you about today. You guys are a little crooked. There we go. Better. We ran into a small snag in the garden, which is it's kind of ironic because I just posted a video. If you didn't see one of my earlier videos just recently, I posted about the garden, about planning for the future. In a much older video, I posted about how I was pretty lucky because I didn't get a lot of pressure on the garden. I got a little bit of pest pressure on a few plants here and there, but overall I felt like I was very lucky. And I think I think nature just hadn't found my garden yet. I think that's what it is, honestly. When the late spring came, my blueberries started getting wiped out by the birds. And then later on, I started getting all kinds of caterpillars that just destroyed my brassicas. I didn't eat a single brassica from the garden. It was just, all of it was terrible. It was filled with caterpillars and worms and all kinds of stuff. My experimental potted squash and zucchinis suffered greatly. They had vine borers all inside of them. So I did get some squash, but they were small. I had to pull them early because the vines started dying back and it was just a mess, right? So then I thought, okay, maybe that's the end of it. And then late May, early June came around, and I haven't talked a lot about my fruit trees, but they did mostly okay. And then when June came around, the Japanese beetles just devoured them. And they're still ticking along right now. They're still doing okay, but there's still a lot of work that needs to be done on them. And then now, just recently, they've been attacked again, but this time by a much larger enemy. The deer have arrived, and I saw early signs of this around the time that I was doing the recording that I just mentioned earlier, talking about, planning for the future and sort of tearing down the garden and getting ready for the next growing season. I started to notice some signs of, some pest pressure. I noticed some of the leaves on the sweet potatoes were gone, and some of the entire shoots from the sweet potato vines were chewed up, which told me probably not rabbits, very likely deer. And we have a lot of deer around here, and I've been noticing a couple of young deer that I haven't seen before, and they're probably a little braver than the others, and I'm guessing that those were the two that probably came, sampled a few sweet potato leaves and thought, not bad, maybe we'll come back later. And that's exactly what they did. They came back a day or two later and just destroyed the garden, at least the sweet potatoes. They ate everything. Like, just about every leaf is gone. So I don't know if they're going to survive or not, but we'll see. It's getting late in the season. I might be getting real close to pulling them out of the ground anyway, so it's kind of too late for them to recover at this point. On top of that, I did do a second planting of green beans. In that second planting of green beans, I got about 1 or 2 harvests out of them. And then came the caterpillars and the deer, and they just destroyed the green beans. So I'm running out of things to harvest in the garden. I think at this point, the tomatoes are pretty much done, and the sweet peppers are about the only thing that are surviving. I do have some winter squash that I have been growing. I planted them kind of late. It was really just an experiment to see if I could get something out of them. I didn't add any fertilizers to the soil. This being a first year garden, there's not a lot of nutrients in the soil, and so I'm getting really small winter squash, but it's something. Hopefully I can use them, but honestly, the amount that we're getting, I don't know. It's going to be a couple of servings, maybe. Certainly not enough to hold us over for the winter. I did plant some extra cantaloupes as well. The first round of cantaloupes did not do too well. These are doing a little bit better. The difference being, I let this second crop of cantaloupes run, and I wonder if there's something to that. The first crop of cantaloupes that I planted in the early spring, I planted them trellised, and I thought maybe they would do better. I thought keeping them off the ground would keep those melons safe from bugs, but in reality, I don't know that it helped all that much, and it may even have hurt them, because as they started to ripen, they were just dropping with some heavy winds. They were sort of just dropping off of the plants, and that wasn't really what I was intending. I didn't want to walk around and pick them up like fallen apples from a tree. And so I think the second crop, just letting them run, has actually turned out better. I can't say for sure yet because I haven't harvested any. They're not quite ready. They are definitely pretty small. Again, I think this is an issue of probably inconsistent watering and nutrients, because I do my very best to let the plants do their thing naturally, and I provide it with compost. Every now and then I might water them if it's really hot outside, but I don't have them on a drip system. I don't know that I've given them much water at all, honestly, through the summer, and so yeah, they're a little small because of that. At the moment, the only thing left to harvest here is the sweet peppers as they come. The sweet potatoes when they're ready, maybe a few of those winter squash, surprisingly some carrots, mostly for the dog, but every now and then I'll snack on them when I'm out here. But yeah, tomatoes done, green beans done. That's it. Feels weird. It's the end of the growing season. Blueberries done. But looks like we got to move on to other things, other projects, and I'm going to bring you along as I do that. And I hope you're enjoying all of this, and I do hope that you subscribe, and I hope that you keep coming back for more content. And if you have any ideas for things that you want to see around the property, definitely drop them below, and I'd love to read them. Love to know what your thoughts are. Maybe what your thoughts are in keeping the deer away. I've got a few ideas. It's going to take some time, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a shot over time, and I hope you guys are sticking around to see what those are. And as always, you guys be good, and I will see you on the next one. All kinds of stuff. My experimental potted squash. And I saw early, wait for the truck. On top of that, I did do a second planting of green beans. Wait for the truck. I do have some winter squash that I am growing, but I do have some winter squash that I have been growing. I planted them kind of late. It was really just an experiment.